What do you say about a person that gives you everything but life? How do you start to say thank you, Granny, for a woman that raises 9 of her kids and your mom's 3? And she sacrificed more for her grands than she did her own. You see, my grandmother was a very simple woman. She didn't want a whole lot. My grandmother wanted to go to church and Sunday school every Sunday. She wanted to be in Bible study every Wednesday. And the other days, she wanted to be on a fishing creek. It was my brothers and our job to make sure she can do that for the remaining days of her life. The only regret that I have in my 43 years that I never told my grandmother just how much she mean to me. See, my grandmother and grandfather, they raised me, and I hung on everything they say, but they didn't know it. I can tell you every time that my grandmother's ever been upset at me, I can tell you why. My brother never knew that everything he said, that I hung on it. And the one story I want to leave you with to tell you why I became this person. When I was 12 years old, I told my mom, I said, Mom, I'm gonna have some money one day and I'm gonna buy you a Mercedes, and I did. When I came and I asked my grandmother, I said, Granny, what do you want? She always called me her baby. She never called me by my name. I said, you want me to buy you a car and teach you how to drive? She said, no, son, I don't want that. I said, Granny, do you want jewelry? She said, no, son, I don't want that. She said, son, I want a decent house. And I'm thinking, I said, well, my grandmother wants 7,000, 8,000 square feet. But then I knew my grandmother, knowing her like I know her, after pausing for 5 or 6 minutes, I said, Granny, what is a decent home? And I remember it like yesterday, and it was 30 plus years ago. She said, son, I want a decent home. And her words verbatim is, she said, son, I want to go to bed one night. And she said, I want God to let it rain as hard as he possibly can. And I want him to let it rain all night long. And she said, I want to wake up and not be wet. That's a decent home for my grandmother. That's all she wanted. See, for 66 years, my grandmother never went to bed and have it rain and not be wet the next morning. See, I remember those days of putting the plastic coats on the bed. And I'm gonna date myself, the croaker sacks, but now we call them burlap bags. I remember that. I remember putting the pots and pans on the floor to catch the rainwater, the very pots and pans that we're gonna cook in the next day. I remember that. It broke my heart that my grandmother, all she wanted, she got 2 grandboys that's making $1 million, and she wanted a house that wouldn't leak. That's all she wanted. That's all my grandmother wanted. For 2 boys that's making millions, and all you want is a decent house, you want to go to bed and not get wet when you wake up. That's what drove Shannon. That's what got me here. See, my grandmother, if you give your man a word, you give a man your word, you do what you say you're gonna do. See, when my grandfather died, I missed one day, I missed the day of the funeral. My grandmother didn't believe in that. If you promise somebody you're gonna do something, you do it. And as my grandmother was laying in that casket on Saturday morning, I walked over to her and I asked her 2 things. I said, Granny, am I the man you thought I would be when you got on the train and you came to Chicago and got me at 3 months? Am I the man you thought I would be? And I stood there for about 20 seconds and I could see her smiling. And then I asked her, are you proud? I said, Granny, are you proud of your baby? Because everything I've done in my life, I've tried to please you. I know my grandmother's proud. I know my family's proud. This day means so much to me because I get it shared with that guy right there.
There was really, honestly, I never doubted for 1 second, Joe, I wouldn't make it to the NFL. I was focused on football, and the quickest way to make a lot of money, I thought, was football. The quickest way to get my grandmother out of that situation was football. The quickest way for my grandmother to kick her heels up and not have to worry about anything, and she could fish all day if that's what she wanted to do, was football. To give my grandmother that life, because 66 years she had gone to bed, and if it rained, she got wet. And this, to give her that, Joe, I'd do it all over again. Man, this is what you see. Football is what I did, but that's not who I am. I am Mary Porter. I'm Barney Porter. I'm Sterling Sharpe. I'm Shannon Sharpe. I'm a byproduct of what I saw them do and how they raised me. And I wouldn't change anything about my life. I wouldn't, because it made me who I am. It made me who I am. It made me what I am. I remember calling her after I got the word that I was going in February. And I remember calling and I said, well, she said, hey, baby. I said, hey, Granny. I say, we going to the Hall of Fame. She said, what's that? I say, that's where they put all the good players. She said, oh, that's sure nice, son. That's sure nice. She said, I sure hope I'm around to see it. I said, Granny, you will be. I went down. They were doing a story. Mike Kliss was doing a story on me for the Denver Post. And I went down in June. And I remember my sister called me and said, Shannon, she's gone. I said, for real, Libby? And I hung the phone up. And my girlfriend, Katie, she asked me, she said, what's wrong? I said, Granny passed. I was never the same, and I'm never gonna be the same. A part of me died when she died. Part of me broke when she broke. I lived my life with one purpose. I wanted to be a good brother. Yeah, I wanted to be a good son. I wanted to be a good partner. And if I were to ever have kids, I wanted to be a great dad. But the thing I wanted most, to be a great, all-time great grandson for Mary Porter. The proudest my grandmother gets, or she got, is when people would say, Mary, you did a good job raising them boys. They're so humble. They're so well-mannered. It's yes, ma'am. It's no, ma'am. It's yes, sir, no, sir. That gave my grandmother the greatest enjoyment. My grandmother could have cared less that my brother and I made it to the NFL. My grandmother could have cared less that I'm in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. She cared more that I was a good person. That means more to me than 50 Super Bowls, than 20 gold jackets.
This is what I've learned. People can't F up what they don't know about. The moment somebody knows about something, they'll try to mix it up. I'm doing my own thing. I don't bother nobody. Nobody can ever tell you Shannon Sharpe bothered them. But the moment they know something about you, they'll F it up. So for me, I just stay to myself. Tyler Perry had something, he says, sometimes people come in your life for a season. Everybody's not meant to be in your life for longevity.
Right.
He says sometimes people are like rockets, the boosters on the spaceship. They take you up and then they fall off because that's as far as they need to take you.
Yeah.
And I realize that now. There are people that have been in my life that were only there for a short period of time, and that was all God meant them to be. I also realized that people pushed me to a height, and that was as far as they could push me. And now it's up to me to take it, to go the rest of the way. I've been in a situation, I've had a great woman, and I effed it up. Okay. It was me.
Right.
And as I told her, the mind replays what the heart can't delete.
True.
When you're in a situation, you don't realize how good that situation is because you're there. But now when you remove from that situation, you're like, damn, man, I really messed this up. When I played those 14 years, nothing else mattered.
Yeah.
Football was the most important thing. Other than breathing, football was most important. Not family, not kids, not brother, not mom, not sister. And I make no apologies for what I was able to accomplish in my 14 years.
Like?
And I tell people, the greater the player, the more selfish that he is. So if you think, oh man, he ain't, no. Oh, he's a team guy. Okay, he might be out. He's a team guy. But there are things you have to miss. You have to miss some recitals. You have to miss some flag football games. You got practice, you got meetings, you got to work on your craft, and that requires you to be selfish. And a lot of people don't understand that, but I don't make any apologies for what I was able to accomplish, because my whole focus, when my brother and I was growing up, we grew up in a 1,000 square foot cinder block home. Cement floors. The floors was just like what we have in this here. No paneling, and I could look up at night and I could look through the tin roof and I could see the stars. 1987, I was a sophomore, and I remember, because we had community phones. I didn't have a phone in my room. And I remember walking down the hall, it was all quiet. I said, you know what? I'm gonna call my grandmother. Nobody's here. So I get on the phone, call collect. Operator comes on the phone. Yes, I say, I'd like to place a collect call to Mary Porter from Shannon Sharpe. Operator comes on. This is a collect call to Mary Porter from Shannon Sharpe. Will you accept? My grandmother said no. She said, I can't pay the $50 phone bill I got right now, and hung the phone up. I remember walking down the hall and tears started to well up in my eyes when my roommate's in the room, so I can't let him see me cry. And I'm just go lay on the bed, and I'm looking up at the ceiling, I'm just staring. I know what that did to her, to tell me no. I can't accept this call because I got a $50 phone bill I can't pay right now. So I'm laying there and I'm thinking, the only thing that I'm thinking, I'm leaving. I'm Savannah Stell. I'm going to the NFL. People don't want to work. They want X, Y, and Z, but they're not even willing to do RST. When people say Shannon don't deserve anything, you're absolutely right. Shannon earned it. Because there's an opportunity. Everybody has opportunity. Look at my work schedule, Ocho. You know what it is. Saturday we had a podcast. Sunday we had a podcast. Monday I did ESPN.
Right.
Had Tape Club Shay Shay. I did podcast on Wednesday. ESPN Today. I went and taped another podcast. Now I'm doing a nightcap with you. Got ESPN tomorrow. You see that? That's a price. I cannot ask God to give me something and then complain, say you gave me too much. He said, you ungrateful, you know what? And he knows how much I hate ungrateful. So how can I be ungrateful for someone that gave me something? People are like, why you not married? Because I had a singular focus. Football. I was married to football. Right. I loved it. And I didn't have no affair. I didn't cheat on it. Ain't no balance to greatness.
Balance is good.
Ain't no balance to greatness. You think Tom Brady had a balanced life? You think LeBron James has a balanced life? Jordan, tell me the great player. Kobe, that's your favorite guy, Kobe. You think Kobe had a balanced life? You think Jeff Bezos and all these guys, I ain't talking about now. It's easy to be balanced now. You're worth 130 billion. You're worth 200 billion. Yeah. You're worth 50 billion. And you have to have somebody to, because here's the thing. People ask the question, say, why does movie stars marry other movie stars? Because the other know what it's like to live that life, to get into character, to become something, to become someone. So unless you've been there and know what it's like, how can you possibly understand?
Understand. That's a good one. That's
and
right,
so
right.
People, but why you eat the same thing over and over? Why you do the same thing? They say insanity is doing the same thing over and over.
Anything over and over and over and expecting different results.
I did the same thing over and over, hoping for the same results because I had seen that success. And that's all I wanted. More of it. I mean, success is a drug.
Yeah.
Do you notice, you scored your first touchdown, you wanted to score another one. When you got your first 100-yard game, you wanted a 200-yard game. You wanted another.
Yeah.
It's like, and there's nothing like that. They say heroin, which is one of the strongest drugs. They say that first high, they call it chasing the dragon. They say you chase that, you want that feeling one more time. But it takes more and more to get that. That's why you're OD. I wanted that feeling I got with the very first touchdown that I scored. The very first time I saw those fans stomping their feet and I saw them in my jersey and they was applauding what I did. Oh man, I never lost sight of that though, Ocho. They were applauding. They
Right.
were applauding what I did, not who I was. And a
Right.
lot of times you say, well, guys get lost because everything what they do is football or basketball. That's what I did. That ain't who I am. I'm a
Right.
chameleon. I play football. I can talk. I can motivate you. I can coach you. I can teach you.
Mhm.
That's what I need guys to understand. Sports is what you do. That ain't who you are.
Yeah.
But do you know who you are? If I took that away from you, what could you be? Really no failures. They're just delayed. They're delayed successes. They're lessons learned. You see, the thing is that I'm a firm believer. You never judge a man by where he's standing because you don't know how far he's come. See, you look at the man that's laying on the street, but how about what if he was under the bridge just yesterday? See, you judge a man by where he's standing, not knowing where he came from. You see, a lot of people say, well, Shannon, it's easy for you to say that because you this, but you didn't see from 1968 to 1988. See, that's what you didn't see. And you didn't see Shannon go to bed hungry. And you didn't see Shannon not take a bath. And you didn't see Shannon get rained on. And you didn't see his granny crying, asking, what am I going to pay for today? Do I keep the lights on so you can do your homework? Or do I keep the phone connected so we can call somebody if there's an emergency? What am I going to do this month? So while you judging me for what I am now, do you know where I came from? And did you know how long it took me to get here? See, all you see is my successes, but you didn't see the delayed opportunities that was missed. Cried a many a night. A lot of people pray. This is not about me because I know my sister prayed. I know my grandmother prayed, and they're praying for, and God heard prayer that I didn't even know He was listening to. For me to know what my grandmother raised her 9 and took my mom 3, and I put it on everything. She loved us, her 3 grands, more than she did her own. It's something for somebody to take somebody else's kids and love them as they're your own. So for me, there are no failures. The Broncos didn't want to re-sign me. The Ravens cut me. CBS cut me. Fox cut me. That ain't gonna stop me because I know God got something bigger. You close one door, there's another door open. Sometimes He'll make you move because you know what? You weren't gonna do it on your own. He said, you know what? You need. I've been trying to tell you to leave, but you wouldn't leave. So guess what? I'm gonna give you no choice. Now what you gonna do?
Come on now. Come on, preacher.
So for me, ain't no failure. I'm a huge success. I left Glenville, Georgia. Population 3,500 when I was there. 1,000 square foot cinder block, 10 roof, no panels. 1,000 square feet, sometimes 10 people at a time. No indoor plumbing, no running water. And to get here, man, please, because I already know. I know God will never leave me because I know He didn't bring me this far just to bring me this far. He gonna take me all the way on. And no matter what they say, they can't stop it. Progress must progress. So whatever they say about me, he loud, he this, he that, y'all can't stop it. Because what's for me, I'm gonna get. Regardless of what they say. Regardless how many times they use my name, no matter how many times they say they don't like me, it does not matter. Because I've got a higher purpose. Because I know there's one man. I don't know how many women, I don't know how many men, but I know there's one man that knows what's in here. So all that other stuff they be talking on, Joe, all them fair. See, everybody see the successes. Everybody see what, man, look at, man, he 7th round draft pick, with the Pro Bowls and had all the records. Because when I left the game, I had all the records as a tight end. Most yards in a game, most yards for a career, most catches, most touchdowns, had it all. 3 Super Bowls, had it all, and a gold jacket. But you didn't see all the times that I came up short. But that wasn't gonna stop me. because I saw a bigger purpose. Because I laid next to my grandma until I was 15 years old. And I saw her cry many a night. I saw her pray many a night. And I had no idea what she was praying for. But I believe right now she was saying, Lord, take care of that baby boy. He can be something. So that's what she prayed for. So that's my purpose. So they do all that talking they want. All that gossiping, they do all that they want. I know me. And I don't care about the people that don't know me or don't love me. All I need is the people that I care about to care about me. All that other stuff, Ocho, don't matter. It don't matter. We spend too much time. If you really understood how little people actually thought of you, you give less than a damn what they actually thought about you. Because they don't care about you. You worried about somebody that don't care about you. I worry about the people that care about me. That's what I care about. All that other stuff. We need to cut that out. All that gossiping, I don't talk about nobody. Live your life. Because whatever you do, don't take money out of my pocket. So why I care? I ain't gonna got time to gossip. Talk about you for what? Because you don't move the needle for me. You're not putting no money in my pocket talking about you. Why would I talk about somebody when God has blessed me tenfold more than he ever should have? I hadn't been this good, but I've done something right in my life for him to continuously bless me. That's all I care about. There are no failures, just delayed successes. That's how you have to look at life. Maybe you didn't get the woman you like. Maybe you didn't get the job you like. Maybe you didn't get the man you like. Maybe you didn't get the promotion you should like. But keep fighting. Keep hanging on. It's coming. It's coming. My grandpa used to always say, boy, sunshine follows rain. Even Noah, it rained 40 days and 40 nights. Sun came out on the 31st day. That's something I always believe. No matter how stormy it get, the waters will be calm soon. So no matter how rocky my road is, it's smooth sailing. In my 44 years, I don't think my grandmother ever told me she loved me. She showed me she loved me. And I remember the real last conversation I had with my grandmother. And it was, they was doing this special. It was 2011. Mike Kliss, right, for the local Denver paper. And he was coming down because I was going into the Hall of Fame. And they was going to do a story. And so I was showing him all around. I showed him took him to the old house. I took him where, was the old schools were. He met my coach, my high school coach, Coach Hall, the one that was on First Take, And so my grandmother was in a nursing home at that time. And after we had been gone for like 2 hours, I come back and she's crying. So I'm going to the room and he coming out. I stop him. I do it like this. So I go sit on the bed and she's crying uncontrollably. I remember like yesterday, Ocho. And I said, Granny, what's wrong? And I knew something was wrong. She just cried. I said, Granny, I got it. I said, Libby, Spanky, Mama, I got them. You can go. Let go, Granny. I got them. Your baby gonna hold it down. So you don't have to worry no more. You and Papa did your job. Now go rest. Man, this like on my birthday. Like 6 days later. She tell Libby and Mama, y'all going home. I don't know where y'all staying. I want to go to sleep. This was like, because Libby normally stays till about 5:30, 6 o'clock, eat, get a change, get everything, get her situated. Then she would leave. My sister went up there every day to the nursing home, every day for 2 years, every day. She said, why don't y'all go? My mama was up there at the time. She said, why don't y'all going home? I mean, I can't get no rest with y'all in here. They leave probably about 4:30. People call it 4:45. Miss Mary gone. She didn't want them to see her. But she couldn't go until her baby told her, I got it, Granny. Once I told my granny that I had it, that I got my brother, I got my sister, I got my mom, because that's all she was worried about. Right. She knew I'm a baby. I was built. She raised 3 the hard way. She raised her 9 and gave my mom 3 everything but life. She needed to hear me say it. Granny, I got it. So now I handle everything. My mom, I got it. My brother, bruh, you want whatever you want to do. You ain't got to do nothing.
Right.
And you don't have to do. And people are like, well, what your brother do? I say, he don't do nothing. But he don't do that before 12 o'clock because I got it. My sister, I got him. That's so. Yeah, Ocho. But see, people like you have to understand, like the relationship, because I slept in the bed with my grandmother till I was 15. Even when my grandfather died, I didn't sleep in the bed with my brother. I slept with my granny. Right. And I told her, I said, I'm gonna sleep with you. And had my brother knock, I said, I'm gonna sleep with you. I'm gonna sleep in the bed with you, granny, till I get grown. I said, I might get me a wife and we sleep in the bed with you together. To my So about you go get your rusty tail out of this bed. Right. But the relationship and what she instilled in me, the values. Mm-hmm. That's why I think the way I think.